Now at 10, a local organization is helping communities learn more about water safety to prevent drowning. Plus, volunteers from a local church participate in Saturday Serve for area school districts. And the average test scores for 13-year-olds are still on the decline. We'll have the details.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Local organizations are teaming up today to help residents better understand water safety and prevent drowning. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Amber Jenkins. This event is aimed at children aged 5 to 12 years old and featured water safety stations covering various topics such as safety around the water, swimming safety, and staying healthy on the water. Children and parents had the opportunity to learn at each station and practice their skills in the water.
Missouri's been blessed with a lot of water, streams, creeks, and rivers, and anytime we can help educate again the community and bring opportunities together to have parents and their kids learn together about something so fundamental as water safety. Water is going to be something that children are around constantly the rest of their lives, and so anything we can do to educate our kids on how to be safe around water, I think, is a huge benefit.
All children attending received a free life jacket. Meteorologist Chloe Aurora joins us for the first look at weather.
Well, we finally cooled down just a hair, so we're not in those really high temperatures, but still warm, especially given that we're still in the later evening hours. It's only 10 o'clock. We'll see temperatures right now in the lower 80s, upper 70s. Yates Center at 79. Anderson down here is 86 degrees. Pittsburgh hanging around at 81. So we've cooled down just a hair, but because of those dew point temperatures, unfortunately, we're still continuing to feel a little on the toasty side. Tomorrow, another thing to keep in mind, your UV index at an 11. So the burn time, less than 10 minutes. Make sure you're staying cautious with that, putting that sunscreen on as needed and avoiding the sun as much as possible, getting under the shade as needed. Now coming up in a bit, we'll talk about the chances for showers heading into this week, as well as storm chances throughout the rest of the week. I'll have those details coming up.
More than 1,000 volunteers from the James River Church teamed up today to provide renovations to public schools in Springfield and Joplin, Missouri. The volunteers in Joplin worked on major painting projects at the Jungle Field and Joplin High School District base of football stadium in Joplin. Additionally, they will clean and sanitize every bus in the Joplin schools fleet.
It's important to serve because we believe that Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. And so we're called to do that as well, so that as we're out in the community serving people, we're demonstrating the love of Jesus to our community.
James River Church Saturday Serve is a monthly event that aims to make a positive impact in the community. The annual Kids Count data book from Annie E. Casey Foundation released data that states Missouri is ranked in the bottom third of all states for children's health. The data evaluated states on 4 metrics of child well-being, including health, economic well-being, education, family, and community. Only 10 other states had the same or worse rates of child and teen deaths as Missouri. The rate of child and teen deaths was 39 per 100,000 in Missouri in 2021, up from 32 per 100,000 just 2 years earlier. The average test scores for 13-year-olds are still on the decline. That's according to a new report from the National Assessment of Educational Progress. The education leaders say coronavirus pandemic is a big reason why. Researchers assessed students from October to December of the 2022-2023 school year, and then they compared that assessment to one administrated during the 2019 and 2020 school year. They found last year's test scores were down 4 points in reading and 9 points in math. Could Oklahoma's public schools be forced to hang the 10 Commandments in their classrooms? A group called the Oklahoma Advisory Committee is founding on the principles is sending that and 2 other recommendations to the state superintendent. Andy Weber has the details.
What we're going to continue to do is to make sure that faith isn't being persecuted in our schools.
State Superintendent Ryan Walters talking with reporters Thursday after a group of religious leaders sent 3 recommendations for the State Board of Education to consider. They include protecting moments of silence in public schools, which is already allowed, require the 10 Commandments be hung in all classrooms, and require a course on Western civilization. Walters telling reporters he supports protecting that daily moment of silence, but not taking a position on the other 2 quite yet.
We're looking at the other recommendations, and we'll be coming back soon with other actions around the other recommendations from the committee and how we can continue to support our kids.
We have much bigger things to kind of dig into when it comes to education here in Oklahoma.
State Rep Jacob Rosecrans, a Democrat from Norman, used to be a teacher and argues the department is focused on the wrong issues. He says requiring the 10 Commandments be hung is not going to help teach kids.
Well, first of all, I believe that's unconstitutional. Second of all, if you do that, I think that you would have to open it up for the tenets of any religion.
Walters not saying if any of these recommendations will be made a reality or if it would require the legislature to get involved.
That's something we're looking at all options. How can we ensure that religious liberty is protected in our school? How can we make sure that as a state we're moving the ball for our students and making sure that everybody has a great education?
Coming up, the increased wave of gun violence brings the community to its knees. Plus, 2 California parents are using the loss of their son to help spread awareness to the community in a special way. The war over parental rights and their children's sexuality is focused in New Jersey. 3 lawsuits filed by New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin claim discrimination against transgender students. New policies in 3 New Jersey school districts requires teachers to notify parents if their child is showing signs of changing their gender identity, like using different pronouns or changing their names. The new policies include exceptions if a child's health or safety is threatened. The state is seeking an injunction to block the policy as the legal challenge plays out. It's been 1 year since the Supreme Court issued its Dobbs decision overturning the constitutional right to an abortion. Today in D.C., Women's March participants rallied to mark today as a day of action, saying we will not go back. CBS Michael George has more from D.C.
Abortion is healthcare.
Supporters of abortion rights aren't giving up. 1 year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
It never ends. You can fight down an abortion ban 1 year and they'll bring it up the next year. So it's a constant battle.
Anti-abortion rights advocates celebrated the anniversary.
For the first time in 50 years, we have a path to make abortion illegal and unthinkable in Pennsylvania.
Today, access to abortion depends on where you live. 26 states have banned or limited access to abortion since the Dobbs decision. 16 have strengthened the right to an abortion. 8 have a mix of restrictions and protections. Dr. Kylie Cooper moved out of Idaho. She says she can't provide adequate care for women under restrictive abortion laws.
It was too much and it was too risky. And so we made the decision to leave.
A CBS News poll found 57% of Americans view overturning Roe v. Wade as bad for the country. Friday, President Biden signed an executive order expanding access to all contraceptives approved by the FDA, including those that induce abortions. Democrats are hoping to rally voters around the issue.
The United States Congress must put back in place what the Supreme Court took away.
Meanwhile, former Vice President and Republican presidential candidate Mike Pence is campaigning for a 15-week federal abortion ban. Today, he called on his GOP rivals to do the same.
We will never rest and never relent until we restore the sanctity of life to the center of American law in every state in the land.
The abortion debate has been now fought in primarily state legislatures and the courts, but there's no question that it will be a key campaign issue this fall and in 2024. The parents of a man killed in a California mass shooting last year are turning their grief into service. Greg Nashy Grimes was killed in downtown Sacramento in the early mornings of July 4th. His parents have made progress in convincing the city to adopt safety measures through Najee's Law initiative named after their son. If adopted, It would require downtown establishments to have exterior cameras and lightings, make mandatory metal detectors at bars and nightclubs, and hold establishments accountable when violent incidents break out. A recent wave of gun violence in St. Louis has left community members feeling frustrated. Thursday, a 9-year-old boy became the 41st child to be injured or killed in a shooting since January 1st. A concerned citizen begging for action and a mayor of St. Louis are speaking out. John Kipper reports.
Man, ain't no reason why a 9-year-old shot, man. It's no reason for that.
Lisa LaGrone's frustration boiling over after learning a child was shot Thursday afternoon here in the Hamilton Heights neighborhood.
People act like we are insensitized to this stuff.
LaGrone says she's with a group called Safe Streets, Safe Neighborhoods, and she's been to 4 shootings in the last 3 days.
How many bodies I done seen? In the last 72 hours after these shootings happen, I respond to these families. That's my job, man. And I gotta hear these parents cry.
Since January 1st, 41 children have been victims of gun violence in the city of St. Louis.
We have multiple victims on the 5th floor.
10 teens were shot and 1 died after a shooting Sunday morning inside this building on 14th and Washington. Mayor Tashara Jones expressed outrage, asking parents to help keep teens safe.
I need families to hear me loud and clear. Downtown is not a 1 a.m. destination for your 15-year-old.
It's bigger than downtown. We got a citywide problem that people every day gotta listen to gunshots.
LaGrone pleading with local leaders to help shift the tide as the number of children shot in St. Louis continues to rise.
I'm begging this city, man, please, and the state legislature, y'all gotta help us, man. We can't do this. This is killing this community.
The young boy was reportedly conscious and breathing on the way to the hospital. A little later, a tornado touched down in Polk County, Minnesota. We got the video thanks to a storm chaser.
Isolated chances for storms this week. I'll have the breakdown and more coming up next. Stick around. Well, we finally saw a little bit of relief with those temperatures, and when I mean a little, I mean a very small amount, only dipping down into the 80s right now. Taking a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. It's a very calm night. The sunset was beautiful earlier. Our feel-like temperatures are still feeling in the 90s just because of that dew point. The dew point's in the 70s right now, and when you have that hefty dew point, our feel-like temperatures could be upwards of 5 or 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature. Here's a look at the comparison between our temperatures and the heat index. The orange line is our heat index and the yellow is our actual temperature. Earlier today, especially right now in the evening hours, we see that our feel-like temperature is a whole lot warmer than our actual temperature. It's because our dew point is continuing to stay pretty high, and that'll continue until we head into Sunday. It'll start to dip a little bit down, just a hair. We'll wash out just a little bit with that rainfall that we could see, and we might cool down just a hair before we skyrocket even more with those temperatures heading into next week. Temperatures tonight dip down into the 70s, 75 for our low, and then 81 degrees by 10 a.m. So we're going to warm up pretty quickly heading into tomorrow. We do have some isolated chances for precipitation heading into tomorrow, one in the morning and then another one in the afternoon hours. This will mainly be for northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, but couldn't rule out a couple of isolated showers and storms in the general metro as it stands. So Sunday morning we'll see just a couple of spotty showers. This is a result of the remnants of this upper level low that we're tracking a lot further north, so really has nothing to do with our region specifically, but I pointed out because we're seeing the very back end of this, and that's why we're seeing those scattered showers and storms. We'll see a couple more in the afternoon, mainly for Arkansas, as that begins to develop and push off to the south and the east. And then we'll be pretty clear afterwards heading into Monday. We won't see much in the way of precipitation. Throughout this weekend, we'll see some precipitation mainly for northwest Arkansas. Bentonville just at 1/10 of an inch projected for tomorrow. So really not much. Not until Tuesday night we'll see a chance for some isolated storms possible. A couple thunder boomers here and there. Nothing on the severe end, but we could see some widespread rain along with this on Tuesday. 40% chance. Then we'll calm down. Except for those temperatures, they're going to skyrocket. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we could potentially see them end up, we could really see triple digits 3 days in a row before we see a little bit of a cool down into the 80s, upper 80s by Sunday. That'll be due to that rain that we'll see early Sunday morning. It won't be much, but it'll be a little bit of relief and thankfully some much needed rain.
Yeah, Thursday is looking very hot and sticky. Not looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, get that AC cranking, stay indoors, the whole 9 yards.
Definitely, thank you. A couple in Colorado was stuck in a sinkhole but was able to escape with the help of a drone. Reporter Olivia Young has more.
2 people trapped upside down in this sinkhole as water fills their car. Their unexpected savior, an 18-year-old with a drone hobby.
I fly down here all the time just looking.
Saturday morning, Josh Logue flew his drone over a nearby canal while his dad and neighbor looked on.
So he flew it up what's normally a dry creek bed and right now is a river.
Suddenly, he noticed a sinkhole in the road crossing the canal with something inside it.
And I'm like, what is that? And I went down on it and there was a car just in the hole.
They immediately got in the car and drove to the site. His neighbor, Ryan Nuanis, just so happens to be the assistant fire chief at Denver Fire.
I never expected this on my day off.
They found a Jeep Cherokee with its horn going off at least 6 feet down a massive sinkhole.
When I first came down here, I wasn't expecting there to be someone in the car.
But then they heard voices.
Ended up being 2 people, a man and a woman that were trapped inside the car, upside down.
The couple said they were submerged in water with only 6 inches of breathing room.
And the concern that I had as a firefighter was that this river was going to swell even more and it was going to then trap those people underwater.
Brighton Fire and Adams County sheriffs responded quickly, using Josh's dad's truck to pull the car up enough to free the couple.
My 25-year experience as a firefighter, this was the most real and most dire extrication that I've seen.
Colorado State Patrol says that couple was driving home to Keensburg when the crash happened Saturday morning, just 15 minutes before Josh spotted them on his drone.
15 minutes before we found them.
If the water rose just a little bit more, it would have been a recovery and not a rescue.
The couple were taken to the hospital. The driver, a 66-year-old man, has serious injuries. But thanks to a teenager's hobby, they're alive.
Saturday was an active weather day across the valley as funnel clouds and tornadoes were reported. Rain and storms continued into the afternoon and evening. Valley News storm chaser Eric Whitehill captured a tornado that touched down Saturday afternoon near Lockhart in Norman County and Beltrami in Polk County, Minnesota. Still ahead, the College World Series finals are underway in Omaha, and the St. Louis Cardinals kick off this year's London series. We'll have the highlights next in sports.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals get a break from the States as they're in London this evening, taking on the Chicago Cubs in Game 1 of the MLB London Series. The Cubs and the Cardinals are playing in London Stadium for the second edition of the London Series. Cubs fan Bill Murray is in attendance. Second inning, no score. Ian Happ sends this ball off of Adam Wainwright. This pitch goes deep into center field for a solo home run for his 6th of the season. Cubs lead 1-0. Top of the third inning now, 2-0 Cubs. Ian Happ again. This time this ball goes way out of here. Solo home run. Cubs go up 3-0 after that one. So Chicago up 5-0 now. Top of the fourth inning, Mike Tauchman is going to keep this ball fair for a ground rule double. All Cubs in this one today. Chicago beats St. Louis 9-1. Royals at the Rays in the top of the third. Tampa Bay up 4-0, but Drew Waters, the blast to deep right field. That one nearly hits the Ray tank out there. Solo home run. Royals down 4-1. Top of the fourth now. Royals up 4-3. Freddie Fermin smokes this ball down the line, keeps it fair for the three-run bomb. Royals go up 6-4. Later in the inning, Bobby Witt Jr. puts this ball into the gap for an RBI double. Royals go on to beat the Rays in the Trop 9-4. Well, Sporting Kansas City got their season off to a really tough start, but they're trying to make the playoffs, and they definitely are in reach of that as it sets up for a match at home tonight against Chicago. Sporting is at home, taking on the Fire. Both teams have struggled to begin their season. Sporting is off to a good opportunity where they can pick up some points tonight. However, it's a tough night for Sporting. This loss really hurts them. Sporting loses this one 1-0 to Chicago. Well, we've made it to the College World Series final in Omaha. Only 2 teams remain in the series best of 3, and then will be crowned national champions. Tonight, the LSU Tigers are taking on the Florida Gators. This game has gone back and forth all night long. This game goes into extra innings, and the LSU Tigers, who win this one 4-3 in the 11th inning. LSU is now only 1 win away from becoming national champions. It's not every day we see baseball played in Europe, especially the United Kingdom, but pretty much a full crowd there. We'll see if the Cardinals can turn around and get a win tomorrow.
Well, hopefully they can. We'll be right back. Several years ago, zoo care staff trained the otter to put a ball through a plastic basketball hoop as a way of her exercising her elbow joints. After improving her skills, the zoo maintenance team built her a custom court. And at 9 years old, Juno's moving her front limbs as a way of staving off stiffness and arthritis as she ages, according to the zoo caregivers. Plus, she can't get enough of the game.
Yeah, and that otter's more athletic than I am.
Sign her up.
You know, she was supposed to be in the NBA draft.
That's true. The Trailblazers could use her.
Maybe next year. What's going on with weather?
Yep, so tomorrow we'll have 2 chances for some isolated precipitation. Nothing to worry about before we see some sunshine on Monday. Another chance on Tuesday, and hot temperatures afterwards, Wednesday through Friday.
All right, what's going on with sports?
Joplin Outlaws are off tonight, but they'll be back at it home tomorrow against Sedalia.
Sounds good. And that's our time for now. Thank you for making us a part of your night.